Well, hello everyone. My name is Captain Atsoka, and joined with me today is none other than JT Displays. And welcome to esports.net Recap Show. This is a show recapping key moments and key events from the world of esports last week. First, we would like to discuss the HCS, the Halo Championship Series. JT, honestly, a lot has been going on in the world of Halo. Like, what is happening right now?
The Halo launched the tail end of 2021 with the HCS there. They had a great showing out at Raleigh, but now there have been a lot of teams that have dropped out of the scene there. Certainly, we take a look at the likes of Xset has decided to drop there. Of course, Torrent as well. You know, Pioneers, Casey Pioneers there, they've also dropped. A lot of big names have dropped, and some of this because of I think the feedback, or at least or the lack thereof feedback from 343 Industries certainly seems to be hurting the scene.
It definitely does. And honestly, as someone who's been following the HCS since its inception, especially when Halo Infinite came out, I made a big push for this game, putting myself behind it as an esports caster. I actually went and casted a LAN with some of the talent from HCS. So again, this is a community that I really had high hopes for, especially coming from 343 and just having the Halo multiplayer that honestly so many of us had fallen in love with, since the beginning of Halo. And it's really disappointing to see it in the state that it's in, with all these big names dropping out of the HCS. Like you said, BBG, XSET, Torrent HQ, and KCP. KCP, when they dropped out, that hit home to me more than any of them, because
Me as well. I'm
KCP.
here in Kansas City.
Exactly. So it's really sad to see a lot of these orgs that we have so much respect for, find it that, Halo just isn't, filling up to the expectations. It's sad, really.
Yeah, and to me, it does, I think, kind of come into question, like, what does the scene really look like moving forward there? Because there just isn't seem like there's a lot of content for content creators. When you look at Twitch there, people really aren't doing the multiplayer, right?
That's exactly right, and that's the thing that keeps people coming to Halo is the multiplayer. Since its inception, way back when with Combat Evolved, it was, the multiplayer base that had it, really thriving. And again, unfortunately, in today's day and age, it's not just enough to throw on Forge and just leave it at that. We need some more content. And again, that also comes through, ways of the Battle Pass, or, whatever it is their version of it's called, or maybe even have some better online events. They've managed to throw in a couple, and some of the rewards are really good, but at the same time, we need more maps, we need more game modes, we need something. And honestly, right now, they're not delivering. It's the same maps in rotation every single season long. And for the majority of it, it's the same ranked rewards. They need something to revive ranked, because when you're able to draw the attention to the ranked game mode, and again, not to name drop, but Rocket League does a fantastic job of this. They give you different ranked rewards each season and a nifty, cool little title to show off all of your hard work that you put into for the ranked season. So again, Halo just needs to incorporate that in a much better, spectacular fashion to keep players grinding rank, because the more that you keep players grinding rank, the more they're going to watch competitive Halo. It really just seems to be a cycle that 343 and unfortunately Halo Infinite multiplayer currently just is not, they're not committing to it. I really don't know what
Right.
else to say.
Well, and to me, what concerns me is that that's a huge chunk of money that's certainly out of the HCS there. You got these big orgs dropping like flies here, and what orgs are going to be stepping up to like replace that lost revenue, or that lost investment into 343 there, right? Like they had big support, especially from KCP being there from day one, hosting like events at Kauffman Stadium, at the Royals Stadium there, hosting other people, and like there's a lot of investment from many of these teams here that I don't know what org really steps up and can provide that same sort of like security blanket, or at least financial security that 343 might be looking for some of these orgs, about like to get them partnered or stuff like that. Again, I think it all comes down to that communication needs to, and transparency needs to improve from 343.
It really does, and not only do they need to communicate more with the community, but like with what you said, to the partners themselves. Again, with a lot of these Twitch streamers, if you go on any given day to Twitch and you look at the numbers for Halo, they're extraordinarily low. Sometimes you'll see them around the 6 to 500 viewer mark, which is honestly insanely low considering how widespread popular Halo has been and continues to be. But when there's not enough content to stream, there's not enough content to play, or vice versa. And you really just don't have the player base sticking around. They'll, again, we did fantastic for the first one in Rally. Anaheim wasn't that bad either, but the continuation of doing the same thing over and over again, it just begins to trickle out. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, unfortunately, is literally the trickling out of not just the player base, but also a lot of these esports orgs and partners are beginning to trickle out from the HCS as well.
Absolutely. Certainly murky and troubling waters ahead for the HCS with this move and with all this news here. But moving on, secondly, we would like to discuss the upcoming 2023 Call of Duty League season that is going to be kicking off here. As we know, Call of Duty League 2022 done and dusted there. We are about to enter into silly season, roster mania, as some affectionately call it there. We have free agents potentially happening here. Obviously, I think you're going to have teams like the LA Thieves, 100 Thieves there.
And you better get it right. That's my team right there. And
LA
I'm not
Thieves.
I'm not a bandwagon jumper, by the way. I am a long live advocate. All right, I've been a longtime fan of the 100 Thieves. It's two of my favorite teams, 100 Thieves and NRG. So until NRG finds their way into winning a Call of Duty championship, I'm going with the 100 Thieves.
Fair enough. Yeah, but they win themselves a ship there. So I think they're going to pretty much sit pat here and maybe extend their players there. But silly season is going to be starting here soon. I believe it's August 21st, according to the articles. Both these articles you can find on esports.net. But this article here, we're talking about silly season starting, roster mania, who's going to be making those switches there, and it is really interesting to see how these contracts are now being set up here with the Call of Duty leagues, where we're talking about like money kind of falling out of the HCS. We're seeing a lot of money being injected into the Call of Duty League here because we got the minimum CDL player salary has now been bumped up to $55,225 a year. So that's a nice chunk of cheddar there. Furthermore, not only that, but teams participating in the Call of Duty League are now required to provide healthcare and retirement benefits. These are things that a lot of people don't have today, and we finally have safety and security nets for esports players, and I love to see that. I think that is a trend that needs to be happening throughout esports and other esports.
It definitely does. I don't even have healthcare. I would love some healthcare. Maybe if I get good enough at Call of Duty, I can get me some healthcare. But may be able to go to the doctor and get checked out. But in all seriousness, this is a huge move because, again, this is like groundbreaking in the world of esports to not only have a salary minimum of what you could be earning, but again, to have those safety nets as well to keep you competing. That is absolutely insane. And not only that, but they get retirement and everything else. That is huge because, again, not only is Call of Duty League putting the weight behind the community, now they're putting their weight behind the players, and that speaks volumes.
And I didn't want to bury the lead there too much, but it also does state that in the 2023 CDL season, players will also be entitled to at least 50% of all prize pool earnings. The money going in actually going out to the players that deliver the content. Shocking. It's like you think that this would be simple stuff, but it's groundbreaking and so encouraging to see that CDL is really kind of setting up these contracts very similar to the way you see other franchised sports out there, like hockey or baseball, or even Major League Soccer here in the United States. Because you do have some of these short-term contracts, which would primarily, I think, extend to like your academy players. So if like a player gets sick, you're able to kind of bring that academy player up to like play in for a season there for like a weekend, then bring him and then drop him back down to your academy without really affecting your main roster. So short-term changes, 14-day contract options do exist, but players can only sign 2 of those 14-day contracts with the same team. If the team calls them up the third time, hey, you're now automatically part of the simply part of the signing that the full senior team there. And there will also be 2-way player designations that allows players to compete in both the CDL and the Call of Duty Challenger circuit. So kind of like how a Major League Baseball player will get option to like their AAA. So like somebody from the Royals gets option to AAA Omaha type thing, or or vice versa, or like someone from the Carolina Hurricanes in hockey gets optioned to one of their farm teams. They can still call them up at any time, but if they get called up 3 times there, hey, they're part of that senior roster. So I do like seeing the way the contracts are being structured here is very reminiscent of other franchise leagues that are successful, that have proven continued success, like Major League Baseball, like the National Hockey League, like Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and that's the really tremendous thing about this move coming from the CDL, the Call of Duty League, is because it's not a now solution. Like these are problems that we have now, right? You know, it's very well and aware, but they're laying down the foundation. They're laying the brickwork to build upon the future of Call of Duty League, because this isn't just a remedy for some problems that the players in the community is having now. This is some type of solution that is going to have long-term effects into the future of the Call of Duty League. And speaking of, we got a lot to talk about when it comes to the future of Call of Duty League. Nonetheless, the introduction of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
That's right. Yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 going to be released here in October. I believe the official launch date is the 28th of October there. So if you have Kyler Murray on your fantasy draft, you drop him before that time, you know, because as we all know, he's an avid Call of Duty player. But his stats in football kind of drop off a little bit after that. But you know, regardless, maybe that changes this year. Maybe that changes this year. If you're a Cardinals fan, maybe it changes. All right, but certainly it is possible that the 2023 season could be starting a little bit earlier here. And usually it is typically started in the later half of January. So that gives players a good solid 4 months to understand their mechanics, understand the changes and the different guns, the loadouts that are kind of the meta there, and adapt to those in time before that new season. But we could possibly, there's a rumor saying that season could be starting sooner. So maybe early January, maybe even late December. But again, this is all hearsay here. So we're not going to say that anything's been confirmed, especially not from the publisher at all.
Yeah, and you see, this is something that's really interesting, is because, you know, when we talk about the Call of Duty League with, you know, the introduction of a new Call of Duty game every single year, you know, by the time the Call of Duty League rolls around, everybody already has the meta down pat, whether it be the weapons, you know, whether it be your utility, or rather just, what to me is the biggest thing is map placement, being able to play the 3 lanes on these Call of Duty League maps. So again, that is huge. To me, that's the most important. So normally when Call of Duty League rolls around, all of this is already discovered. Everybody already knows what the meta is, and it's really just who can execute it best. Now, if the Call of Duty League does start earlier than usual with a new game, a lot of the meta could still be up in the air. So they're going to have to try and figure these things out as the Call of Duty League is happening. So we're going to see the progression of Modern Warfare 2 meta in real time.
Yeah, and to me, that's really kind of exciting there, because not very, like, this is, I think, an exciting avenue for them to try to approach. That really does allow us to kind of like see an evolution. We don't, like you said, we haven't seen too much of an evolution in season there. Like sometimes you like something, you know, someone discovers a secret strat and kind of blows up there. But this is an opportunity for us to really kind of like experience it with the pros. And I think that allows for a little more immersion, a little more connection with that pro scene. It's like, hey, they're also figuring out just the same way we are, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, like I talked about, you know, all the time we're talking in Call of Duty, and it's always coming down, oh, what's the best gun? What's the most meta weapon? And then of course, more often than not, it's gonna come down to the subs and assaults. We all know this. It's nothing new. What is going to be the most monumental thing is gonna be those map placements. The first thing that these players do, especially competitive pro players, they jump into the maps and they start to study. They study the maps down to a T, and it's usually coming down to the 3 lanes. And that's where they find their placements. They know the best places to get the head glitches. They know the best places to go for retakes given the objective. And again, it's going to be about being able to study those maps. So when the game comes out and CDL, hopefully not following too much behind the release, it's still going to be down to who has the better map study, the better map knowledge. And I think that's going to throw a huge wrench into a lot of these Call of Duty League teams as we get ready to head into the next season.
Absolutely. But that is all we have for today's show, folks. Come back next week. We'll have more content for you in your faces. And of course, you can check out both these articles over on esports.net. For Captain Etsoga, I am JT Displays. Thanks for watching, y'all.